"56 kilometers south of Chennai lies a 2000 years old port city, now known as Mamallapuram. A World Heritage Center, its major monuments date from 14 centuries before present and have influenced South Indian and Southeast Asian culture profoundly. The monuments are divided into excavated caves, structural temples, monolithic temples, open-air bas-relief. They have major architectural distinctions. Floor plans. In the cave temples, the mantapas are divided with rows of pillars. The main cell is sometimes brought forward with a raised floor. The shore temple has two towered Shiva shrines, sandwiching a flat Vishnu shrine, which is unique. Facade. Caves have replicas of kudus and salaharas carved in relief. Pillars. The earliest are square at top, octagonal at center, and square at bottom. Some are circular at bottom, fluted at middle, with Malisthana ending with a Padma Bandha at top. Others are similar, but have a seated lion at base. The potika or corbel is rounded or angular, sometimes fluted with a patika band. Kudu is an ornamental dormer window, usually with a Gandharva face in it. Kuta or Karnakuta is a square structure with domed roof. Sala is a rectangular structure. Rows of these salaharas are found on the Vimana, forming story after story. Kudiya Chitra. Walls with sculptural panels. The highlight of Mamallapuram is the carvings in the wall niches. Some show mythological scenes, others secular art. The open-air magnum opus depicting the scenes from the Himalayas is without an equal. Vimana. Different kinds of Vimanas are shown. All have rows of rectangular salas with the corners having square karnakutas with domed ceiling, each tala or floor receding finally, the whole structure ending in a shikara with a stupi or kalasa. They present a harmonious pyramidal structure when the floor plan is square, and a vaulted roof when oblong, the ends showing mini shrines. Art. Art consists of mainly sculpture in Mamallapuram, as the paintings that might have existed are now gone. Stand-alone sculpture is rare. For the most part, we find bas-relief. Divinities and secular scenes are present adorning the Garbhagruha and walls. Pallava sculpture is elegant and beautiful, the hallmark being a total absence of clutter. It avoids excess in all aspects, decorative as well as narrative. This simplicity enhances the ravishing beauty of the elongated and slender humans who look relaxed but with reserve, extremely graceful and serene. We find the major Hindu gods in a variety of avatars. Shiva, Vishnu are identified easily. Durga with her weapons is a recurrent theme. One of the most striking features is the vivid depiction of nature and animals, confirming their love of all things in nature. Excavated cave temples. The central hillock running in the north-south orientation is the place where all the excavated caves are located. The Adi Varaha temple, the earliest, is still in worship and the deity cannot be photographed. Ashtabhuja Durga with weapons. Mahendra Potradiraja with queens. Simhavena Potradiraja with his queens. Harihara, Vishnu, Gajalakshmi, Siva Gangadhara, Brahma. The inscription on the Harihara panel is the earliest to mention Buddha among the 10 avatars of Vishnu. Side walls of the cave have inscriptions of Rajendra Chola I, describing the temple as Parameshwara Mahavaraha Vishnugruham, the Mahishamardhini cave. Here the facade is unfinished. On the 3 cells, the center one with a mantapa and steps leading to the Garbhagruha has the favorite theme of Pallava art, the Somaskanda Siva panel. The 2 pillars of the mantapa have seated lion base. Multifaceted center with decorative Malisthana leading to a lovely Padmabandha and Falaka upon which double potikas are bearing the ceiling. The figures in the panel are carved with relaxed postures. Siva in Sukhasana and Uma are seated with the toddler Skanda between them. There is a hole in the floor for placing a linga which is now missing. Feet resting on Nandi, they present a picture of the revered Adi Dampatis. The other cells are empty. Vishnu panel. Vishnu Ananta Sai is in Yoga Nidra on 5-hooded Adisesha. Bhudevi is seen praying. The Asuras, Madhu and Kaitaba are ready to do their evil. Ayudha Purushas at lower level and flying at upper level are present. This scene is ready to explode into action in a fraction of time when Vishnu shall awake, disturbed by this intrusion to destroy the Asuras. This brilliant piece of art is carved in high relief. It could tempt you to wait for action. So dynamic is the portrayal of the potential, every character perfect in time, position and posture. Opposite is the battle between Mahishasura and Durga. Look closely, for they will come alive and you will find yourself in the thick of the battle. Watching this lithe and graceful woman making ruthless assault on the Asura and his Ganas. So relentless is this beautiful divine power's war-making, the destruction of his Ganas has sown the seed of doubt and fear in Mahisha's mind. You can hear his bellow turning to whimper as he goes on back foot. His only thoughts seem to be his imminent defeat and death. For many who visit Mahabalipuram, this single piece of art will convince them they have watched a great masterpiece of Pallava and Indian art. Varaha Mantapa. Varaha Mantapa is a neatly finished cave with the facade having 6 kudus and salas above. The 2 pillars have vyalas at the base and are fluted. This time the potikas have taranga carving on them. The ceiling is decorated with patterns where some dye is still seen. The Adi Varaha panel has Vishnu in his Varaha avatar standing in the center, with a foot on the head of Seshanaga. He holds in his upper hands the chakra and shankha, while tenderly holding Bhudevi, just rescued by him with his lower hands. Surya on the top left, Chandra among clouds at top right are witness, as is Brahma standing behind Varaha. All of the figures facing Varaha have their hands in the Anjali mode as well as Chandra. Gajalakshmi at bath. The goddess is seated on a lotus in the pool with 4 attendant maidens, 2 of whom are holding water in kalasas. One elephant is emptying water on the goddess, the other is receiving. The 2 other maidens are present with accessories for the toilet. Durga with her vahanas frolicking Kubja Ganas and devotees, one offering his head, another shows Vismaya. Trivikrama Pranal. Vishnu Vamana has instantaneously turned Trivikrama after covering earth and heaven in 2 steps. With his foot raised to Brahmaloka, we see Brahma on the lotus, washing Vishnu's foot, while the hand pointing to the end of space seems to say, "Where next?" to a bewildered Bali. While Surya and Chandra flank Vishnu at his waist level to show his true dimension, Shiva too is witness to this scene. The curious figure in the limpid posture might well be Trisanku in limbo between heaven and earth. This epic moment of awe and shock is magnificently captured. Trimurti Mantapa. All the sanctums are directly accessed. Out in the open and standing on Mahisha's head, Durga is carved with a beautiful double-bent torana above her. The central cell houses Shiva with Ganas at his side above the two devotees sitting with Peti. The black linga installed in front seems to be a later addition. To our right is a cell for Vishnu, standing with 4 hands, holding Shankha and Chakra. The cell to our left has a unique figure flanked by bearded Dwarapalas. Standing with Brahma's symbols is Subramanya Gurumurti wearing the beads across his chest. Kotikal Mantapa. Thick Mahendra-style pillars and female Dwarapalikas give an indication that this is an early excavation for a female deity. Koneri Mantapa. Facing west and a small pond is the Koneri Mantapa. The unfinished shows the technique being used to excavate rock clearly. The fully finished with 5 cells has 2 sets of pillars dividing the mantapa into mukha and artha. There are 5 cells, all with sockets for lingas in the floor. There are niches for patas on the back wall. Ramanuja Mantapa is totally vandalized. The Dharmaraja Mantapa too is in state of dereliction. Shore Temple or Jalasayana. This structural temple complex has 2 shrines, to Shiva with towers and a Vishnu shrine in between with flat roof. The east-facing larger Shiva shrine, known as Kshatriya Sameshwaram, is square, has an Ardha Mantapa with Vishnu on northern and Brahma on southern walls. A Somaskanda panel adorns the back wall facing east with a tall fluted linga jutting out of the floor. This panel is severely corroded due to salty winds. The Deepastambha seen in front of the eastern entrance once stood in the sea. Rearing lions dominate the temple's corners. The sculpture on the exterior walls is all but gone. Durga and Siva Tirupurantaka are 2 you can still see. All this is topped by a 3-story Vimana ending with an octagonal shikhara and polished black kalasa. Lions at the corners of the first story and Bhutaganas on the final story, along with the kutas and salas, make up the tower, which looks taller than actual. The prakara wall is very close and the pradakshina pathar narrow. The sculpture gallery on the prakara wall too is corroded. Entry to the Narapada Simha Pallava Vishnu Gruham is to the narrow pradakshina patha. Vishnu lies in this dark, rectangular chamber severely eroded. This statue is said to be the oldest, giving the name of Jalasayana to this entire complex. The west-facing Rajasimheshwaram is a Shiva shrine with Somaskanda panel which is better preserved. The tower is smaller than the other and is similar. There are inscriptions of Rajaraja Chola I on the floors flanking this shrine. In front of this shrine, 2 distinct platforms with Nandis in row on the parapet add to the complex, making the entry from the west the main. There is a monolithic line with female riders and a square niche in which we find Durga near the smaller shrine. More recent discovery of Varaha and a miniature Shiva shrine to the north of the main shrine at a lower level is intriguing. Steps lead you down the well-like structure to these objects, of which the unusual Varaha is broken. There are inscriptions of Rajasimha on the base of the mini shrine. At the entrance of the temple, you will find Balipitas with inscriptions on them. Monolithic temples, rathas. If I were standing here before chisel struck the rock, all I would have seen would be a huge outcrop of rock and boulders, bare, hard and hot. But the Vichitra Chitta could see in every contour they could make art out of rock. The Atyantakama envisioned endless designs in every peak and dip. Draupadi Ratha, domical roof on a square plan. Dwarapalikas flanking the entrance, which has a Makara Torana over it. We find Durga with her weapons showing Abhaya. Two devotees are present, one about to self-sacrifice. The roof is finished with beautiful florid patterns. The stupi rests on the base uninstalled. Opposite, the lion, her Vahana, is standing free. Arjuna Ratha. This two-storied structure has in front two pilasters, the Vyala base facing each other and two plain pillars. Standing lions adorn the Potika. Above this are kudus with faces, underside of which are ganas. The Salaharas has kutas at corners and the back wall is interspersed with figures in niches. Finally, all lead to an 8-sided shikara whose stupi is still waiting on the basement. The shikara has its corners and edges decorated with patterns. The sculpture on all sides is flanked by pilasters and shows superb control over the medium. On the southern wall, Shiva Vrishabhantika is leaning on his Vahana with grace, with beautiful portrayals of royal couples on both sides of him. All the figures show variety in posture, displaying an outstanding skill. The figure riding the elephant on the eastern wall is either Indra or Subramanya. Vishnu with Garuda on the northern side, a royal couple with the male turning at the torso, capture a moment that makes it come alive. A monolith Nandi is present at the back. These are paintings in 3D. Bhimaratha. 4 pillars, then 2 pilasters adjoining the solid walled corner on both the long sides support the kapota, which has kudos with human faces in them. Behind the pillars with seated lions at the base, it has an unfinished Pradakshina-patha. Above is the Salahara ending in kutas. The first floor over the Salahara has niches with pilasters. In some, there are human figures that are unfinished. Above the niches, protruding out of the vaulted solid roof, are nasikas of different sizes. The roof is topped with kalasa bases with the kalasas absent. On the gable ends there are carvings of a shrine with round dome. The roof ends are carved with ornate patterns. The rock cut indicates a possible Ananthasayana, though no carving has been done. Dharmaraja Ratha. This is a 3-storied square temple with an Arthamantapa jutting out facing west. The 4 pillars supporting it are the seated line type left in various stages of incompleteness. The corners are solid wall with niches and figure carvings in them. Kudos with face inside and ganas underside are topped by the regular Salahara on all sides. However, the gap between the Salahara and wall behind leave room for the Pradakshina Patha. There is no access to the upper floors. The Shikhara is octagonal with nasikas and all edges carved with ornate patterns. Shiva at southwest corner, hand on the waist, is holding a snake that hangs with an open hood. He wears a long garment. Shiva on the northwest has a mass of hair falling behind his shoulders with deer and akshamala in upper hands. A snake around his waist and short garment complete this figure. Brahma, 3-faced, and lotus in upper hand is around the corner to the north. Harihara at the other end on this side. Clearly marking the sides is the snake, the axe and the hair for Hara, and the chakra and kirita on the Hari side. Around the corner facing east is a splendid Ardhanariswara. Different hair, the earrings, bangles, slope at the shoulder, gracefully hanging arm, the curved torso rising to well-rounded waist. The anklet distinguish the female side from the more masculine male side holding axe, and a hooded snake coiling up at the thigh marks Shiva, making it a delight to watch. At the other end on the same side is Subramanya Gurumurti with lotus and akshamala in upper hands, Abhaya and Kati Avalambita lower hands. The south has 2 figures, one of which is Shiva and the other is a royal personage. This figure with a high kirita and long earrings with a necklace is a subject of debate. Many conclude that he is Narasimhavarman I. There is no access to the upper stories. Here are some sketches of sculpture in them from ancient references. Sahadeva Ratha is designed in an apsidal shape or Gajaprashtha, which resembles an elephant backside. All over the contours are rounded. The Vimana front resembles the one in Bhimaratha. Away from this group, located on the central hillock, this monolith known as the Ganesha Ratha is the only one completed. It has elegantly carved Vyala-based pillars, and pilaster facing each other is flanked by wonderfully carved Dwarapalas. The Vimana of this rectangular base Ratha is a likely precursor to great Gopuras of the Dravidian temple. The Salaharas recede to finally end in a shikhara topped with many Kalasa and Trisula heads. The gable ends are similar to Bhimaratha but have Trisula heads. This beautiful looking monolith has set the trend for future. Outside the village, there are 3 more unfinished monoliths known as the Pidari and Valayankutte Rathas. Look at that hunk! Hey, stop gaping at those two. Me? Gape? At whom? Open-air bas-relief. Surya and Chandra have just witnessed the momentous occasion of Ganga's arrival. The celestials are heading towards the divine river through aerial route, as are the Siddhas, Vidyadharas and Devarishis. The Gandharva, Kinera, Kimpurushas are singing praises. Nagaraja and his retinue are rising from the netherworld to receive the river with reverence. Such is the scene presented to us by this monument. This life-giving river has created the whole environment depicted here. Celestials, mythical creatures, animals, birds, and humans have all found a habitat suitable for their need around the river flowing through this mountainous abode of Shiva. Lions, tiger, geese, hare, deer, boar, some exotic reptiles, bear, antelope, and mighty elephants in herds live here, doing what they do: hunt, give birth, and suckle their young in dens, nest, and frolic. Commoners hunt, some gather wild fruit and others produce. Much water has flown and a long time has passed. We now see other men have found the ideal place for spiritual pursuits. On the banks, ascetics have their ashrams and teach, learn, worship, and meditate. There is one person shown doing penance in a setting slightly above them. He seems to have succeeded in his quest, as the Lord of Lords, Mahadeva, has come to him. Whether it is Arjuna or Bhagirath, the debate will go on. The trip to the Himalayas will take your breath away. It is befitting that so many among those shown in this scene are showing the Vismaya Mudra, calling to our attention the amazing achievement of both the sculpted and the sculpture. The remains above the monument of a water cistern for allowing water flow in real time can stir your imagination. And this is not the only such piece of art where water is said to have flown over. For right next to this is another wonderful scene from mythology carved onto rock. Krishna has lifted up the Govardhanagiri to provide shelter to his kin from Indra's wrathful, unrelenting reign. This pastoral scene, full of nonchalant activity amidst such a mighty crisis, calls attention to the faith subjects had towards their protectors. A fair mix of real life and myth is given in these two wonders of Pallava art, 3D and all.